Hey folks, let's see if we are live and direct to the internet with martial powers. Looks like I'm on a loading screen. Up, there I go. Am I making noise? Looks like I'm on a loading screen. Noise. There I go. Am I making noise? Looks like I'm on a loading screen. Okay, that's okay. Noise enough. Let's bounce that a smidge. There we go. Bring the mic into focus here. Okay, cool. So it looks like we're up. Let me go ahead and grab my link here. I'm going to do some social media posting and regale you with my origin story while I'm doing these updates. So if you're catching the stream in the future, you can skip ahead 2 minutes and I'll be done with it. But for those of you trapped in time space with me here now, hey. My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. And I've been designing games for 5e specifically since 2017. I've been a Magic the Gathering enthusiast since 1994. I think it was like the first official run. And then I've been DMing since 1987. When Wizards purchased Dungeons and Dragons, that was awesome because most of us thought that we were going to start seeing Magic the Gathering D&D crossover stuff in the 2000s, but we didn't get any until 2017 with Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica and then Theros and Strixhaven, and we never got any mention of the color mana system, which is just world renowned. And it's like chocolate and peanut butter D&D and Magic the Gathering. So when the color mana system didn't manifest, that was what got me motivated to start building for the 5e game system. 5 color mana spell point variant rules was created. It replaces the 8 schools of magic and spell slots with the color mana system of Dungeons and of Magic the Gathering. And let's see. So I've published a slew of books for those, but it was only for spellcasting. The vision here, the dream that we're pursuing with this book is to create a mana system for martial characters as well, using the mechanics that pretty much already exist inside of 5e, just codifying things so that you would have a mana supply just like spellcasters do, so that any character in Dungeons and Dragons can be expressed as a color magic character. I could have a Rakdos barbarian and bard, cleric, sorcerer, warlock. They're all options that would be available, and no matter what class that is or what kind of multi-classing you would perform, can still express that as Rakdos with red and black mana and have access to black and red spell effects and like for the barbarian powers that you would take for your martial side of your character. That would be also something you could express with your black and red mana as well. So hey Dems, what's up? What's your favorite class? What is my favorite class to draw? Huh. Boy, that's a great question. I like the martial characters. I like how they move. I like building armor. So I would say paladin, heavy fighter types, artificers. But occasionally I like to have people manipulating magic and illustrations. So, but I think, I would say probably martial characters the most. Fighters, paladins, that kind of thing. Let's see. I've finally got my intro done. So that's what we're doing today. We're building the martial powers so that all characters have the same unified mana system. And since we just came out with new rules in 2024, I'm updating all my books to 2024, and I'll be doing it here on stream. So if you're on the X Twitter platform, I'm at Phil Kearney. You can see illustrations, links, and different stuff that I've done in the past, the progress reports that I have as I come along, so catch me there. Here on YouTube, subscribe. Hey, more subscribers. Thanks a lot, guys, for subscribing to the channel. I'm here 10 times per week. We're on episode 151 of the Martial Powers development system. You can get the full playlist here for free on my Patreon. Here's the full playlist that we built here on YouTube. My Patreon, it's available for free. The Martial Power playtest content here. You can check out my Spell Point Warlock stuff for Ravnica here. The Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that I built, diving into combat and exploration for the Spelljammer setting. The full 5-color mana Spell Point variant rule system that I built for 5e, and other stuff. So you can check that stuff out if you're interested in just seeing more of how I build stuff in general. So this is the playtest document that you'll have access to if you click through on my Patreon link. It'll be a read-only document for you now, but I am playtesting this stuff. So if you're interested in that, $1 subscribers to my Patreon get preferential seats, and I'll be recruiting a new team for 3rd level to do some dungeon crawling using martial powers. Probably at the end of the October is when I would anticipate having this document fully converted. So we've been decking everything out. Today we're going. Here's their basic progression. Everyone uses half casting, and you have short rest mana, just like a monk. One at one point. Well, monks only get in a second, but we expanded it. So like paladins and everyone. Anyway, you get 1 point per level. It comes back on a short rest, and all of the classes have ways to cheat additional mana into their mana supply, and there's ways for you to have effects that cost mana and don't cost mana. So you can have like cantrip effects, as well as you can reduce the cost of mana effects so that they don't cost any mana at all. So there's 178 powers currently. Yeah, 115 of them defined as disciplines. 115 of them require mana. Exploits modify die rolls or action economy that you're using. Maneuvers are action or bonus action things that you can do, kind of like point and click effects. Reactions have trigger conditions that you would use a reaction to then do. Like anticipate, as a reaction to when a creature within range of a weapon attack that you can see makes an attack. Before they roll to hit, you make an opportunity attack. So that would cost you a point as a reaction. If you had a reaction available, you could spend a point of mana, and then you could do this. Then you could basically make. If you see somebody making an attack and they're within range of your weapon, pop! You can take a shot at them. There's a kicker effect. Kickers are independent prices. Like a first level character can only use first rank powers and only has 1 point of mana, but a second level character has access to first rank powers and has 2 mana. And has multiple powers that they can know. But if we were to go down to this kicker effect again, like you could spend 1 point for the, let's go find it here real quick. Reactions equal here. Okay, so you'd spend 1 point to anticipate so that you'd be able to make the attack. And then if you wanted to spend an extra point, you could roll an extra die to increase the damage, to increase the attack roll. So it says roll 1 power die per mana spent this way as a kicker effect. Spend 1 mana each, and you can roll 1 power die for every mana that you spend. Keep the highest result, and if you don't hit, you get all your mana. You get the kicker mana back. So you'll spend a point to make the attack. You can spend extra mana to hype your attack roll, but if you still miss, you get your kicker cost back. And the power die is like a cross between a martial arts die, a superiority die for like martial, like for maneuvers, or like a bardic inspiration die. It scales with levels. It starts with a D6, becomes a D8, and then ends with a D10. Some classes, like the monk, starts with a D8, D10, D12. The Battlemaster Fighter at 3rd level upgrades to a D8, then D10, then D12, and the Ranger with a Foe Slayer class feature at 20th. They start with D6, D8, D10, and then at 20th or D12. So you could throw like up to 5 mana into an effect and roll 5 dice. Normally it'd be a 5d10, but like for a ranger, for instance, it could be 5d12 against a foe, for instance. Hey, what's up? More text. Do you play in person or online? Currently I play online. I have 2 teams. I have my home team, which I run a weekly game with. It's an Eberron Spelljammer campaign using kind of a Beck Me light action. It's like an inverted cipher system game that we're playtesting a new game. So, but it's in the Elbrun Spelljammer multiverse, and then my playtesting I do on my Discord channel, also online, and that is typically like in Ravnica or Strixhaven or something like that. We're gonna be we'll be mixing it up with the next next playtest that we're going to be doing, probably starting in November. So okay, great. So there's that. That's what reactions are, and there's what kicker effects are. They're just extra things that you purchase independently. Like for example, Abundant Step. It's an exploit. So basically, you turn it on for a point, and then you can channel this exploit as a move action. You gain a fly speed equal to your walking speed until the end of the turn. And if you don't end your turn on a surface or a liquid that can support you, you fall as normal. But there's kicker costs. So if you spend an extra point, you could double your flight speed. If you spend 3 points, you can triple your speed. And if you spend 5 points, you can quadruple your speed. But you won't be able to spend 5 mana until you get the 17th level because of your max mana limit. So 1 mana at first, 2 mana at 5th, 3 mana at 9th, 4 mana at 13th, and then 5 mana at 17th. And then there's strike powers, which act as old school paladin smites. When you hit somebody, you spend extra mana and you do more damage. And paladins have special things that they can do on top of these. But it's like 26 different strikes, and they use your power die, and you add all your power dice together and add it to the damage, as opposed to like attack rolls and stuff. Like if I were to roll 5 10-sided dice because I spent 5 mana on a kicker effect during, say, an anticipate reaction, I'm going to roll an extra 5 10-sided dice. I'll pick which result is the best and add that one to my attack roll. And it doesn't stack with bard dice. So like if I have bardic inspiration or I'm going to spend power, I could use one or the other, but I don't use both. So you would only keep the best result out of all of them. So you could use a bardic inspiration roll just to give yourself a little bit of an extra bump, but it doesn't stack with the power dice. So it stays inside of that bounded accuracy curve of that 5 to 30 range that you want for ability checks. That makes the 5e system work so well. So, and every time you hit, you can do one of these. Even as reactions, you can do it. So you can burn through a shitload of mana really quickly that way. And then there's sustained powers, which are basically auras that you turn on. You spend the mana and it stays on until you're incapacitated, which includes a long rest. You become incapacitated when you take a long rest. So sustained powers last all day, and you can stack them. So if you're 17th level and you have a max limit of 5, then you can have 5 mana worth of sustained effects active at a time. Like I could have 5 first rank powers, or like a second and a third rank power, or like 3 first rank powers and a second rank. However I want to stack them, I can build that aura set for myself. And that's on top of all the other stuff that I can do. It doesn't require concentration. It can be dispelled. And again, if you're incapacitated, you lose it. And then you have the meta powers, which don't require mana. Combat masteries, weapon masteries that you can use with any weapon. It includes all of the weapon masteries, as well as 6 additional masteries that we created ourselves that aren't attached to any weapon. The way that we modify the 2024 rules is that if you are proficient with a weapon, you can use the mastery that's associated with the weapon. And then if you want to prepare one of your powers as a combat mastery, you would then be able to use that mastery with literally any weapon or unarmed attack that you're proficient with. So that makes it really useful to have those things, because they basically become weapon cantrips that don't cost anything, but you can use them at will with whatever weapon you want. And then there's feats. There's 40 feats inside 2024 that you can take. There's 0 prerequisites to them. So you can take any of them at first level. It does not give you a stat bonus, but it doesn't have a prerequisite either. So you can prepare them as though they were a spell or a cantrip. You could, at first level, take crossbow expert, as well as sharpshooter, and sentinel, and skulker, or say, and poisoner. So you'd be able to use a crossbow to snipe people, freeze them in their tracks, poison them if you took poisoner, and if you were concealed and you missed as skulker, they wouldn't notice you. So like you can stack all those things onto your first level character, if you don't want to mess around with mana, you can just learn masteries so that you have just things you can do with your weapon, ranged or otherwise, and then stack up a bunch of feats so that you can use all of your ASI. Whenever you gain a feat, you can spend 2 points to really ramp up your stats, just like a caster would be able to do. And as you gain more and more levels, the amount of powers you can learn continues to expand. You can just swap in feats and powers and whatever it is you want to do. So that's a real quick crash course. Oh yeah, and then there's the meta power, which is cannibalizing power. We're just gonna put that down under general feat, which is cannibalize power and new feat described below. Meta power, cannibalizing power, chain strike, and efficient power. Charger, chain strike, efficient power. Efficient power is the one I want to talk about. Chain strike allows you to attach 2 strikes together, and as long as you're willing to pay the cost for them, you can use them both at the same time. So like I could take like a thundering strike and a shocking strike and deal both thunder and lightning damage, or either one, or weapon damage to my opponent. Like say I spend 2 mana, 1 on thunder strike and then 1 on shocking strike. I'd be able with thunder strike push them 10 feet, and with shocking strike they wouldn't be able to take any reactions or any opportunity attacks. So you shut down their action economy, and you push them away from you because you spent 2 mana because you have chained together. If you don't chain them, you can only use 1 at a time. There is a strike power called Martial Strike, which just does damage, but you can choose to use a combat mastery with the extra damage. Otherwise, you can either choose a combat mastery or a strike power, but you can't do both at the same time unless you use the Martial Strike power, which allows you to combine the combat masteries, or you take the chained strike feat that allows you to tie two powers together to pay for both of them. Like so, it wouldn't be useful until you were say 5th level, when you'd have 2 mana that you could throw. You'd then be able to choose 1 first rank and a 2nd first rank strike and just merge them so that they do the same thing. Like you could have like a tripping strike and a pushing strike, thundering strike. So when you hit them, you punt them 10 feet and they're prone when they stop moving, for instance. That's fun. Yeah, combos. They're cool. You can build your own combos. And the other option is magical damage. So starting at 1st level, if you wanted to, like as a cantrip, basically your weapon damage is always acid damage if you choose. And by 5th level, you become advanced damage. So like if you wanted to, all your damage is always psychic or force or whatever you want it to be. Since so much stuff in 2024 now is force damage, it's pretty reasonable. And most of that force damage stuff for characters clicks in around 5th level. So this kind of pans out. And of course, the paladin always has access to radiant damage. So there's those things. Anyway, so that's a quick crash course for for those that are not yet indoctrinated into the system. Again, you can pull up the document in my description down here. The Martial Powers playtest content, all the characters, they're still built for 2024. They're still built for 2014, but they all work. So there's that. So I'm going to drop that out. I've got D&D Beyond open over here. We're going to take a look at the barbarian, and let's go fetch here real quick. Let's go down to the bottom of the document. Here's where we've been building stuff until 2024 was officially released, and now that it's actually out in the wild. Here's the rogue progression, and here's the fighter progression. We're still sussing out how many powers a character should have. You know what? I have a power curve over here. Give me a second. Let me fetch that up. Martial powers. Prep comparison. So here's the total number of spells, cantrips, and then like added effects. Like a Warlock, for instance, has cantrips, spells, Mystic Arcanum, and invocations. So they have a lot of spells. They can prepare a lot of stuff. Wizards have just wizard power, just a ton of spells. But like the sorcerer, for instance, has 6 meta magic. So you have meta magic, cantrips, and spells, things that are basically effects that you can do. So this is the breakdown, and we're looking at the high end here. Sorcerer ends up with the meta magic included. They have 34 basically prepared spell-like things. The wizard has a flat 30. The warlock has 29. The paladin and the ranger end up having 17, and druid, cleric, and bard come in a little light at 26, 27, 27. And then combining their spells, invocations, meta magic, and cantrips, this is how many they start with. Ranger paladin start with 4, and then warlock has 5, druid and sorcerer have 6, wizard, cleric, and bard have 7. So the space that I think I want to land with these things is probably not. I'm thinking 5 to 26 feels about right, because of the amount of spells that you get. What my main concern is for, honestly, is the arcane trickster variant for the rogue and the eldritch knight subclass for the fighter. Them having access to spells. They only get 13 spells with no powers at all, and 6 masteries in the 2024 book, and a fighting style feat for free. So they actually get 7. They end up with 20. They end up with 20 options at 20th level as an eldritch knight. But if I were to stack this for the powers, I'd want them to have more powers, but I don't necessarily want an eldritch knight just to have like 27, 26 spells. So what I'm thinking is, I could go 5. If I went the warlock route and went 5 to 29, it would start faithful with the fighting style, weapon masteries, and then have like your typical prepare 2 spells at first level that most casters have, and that would align for a fighter. And then at the top end here, if like instead of like learning 29 powers at 20th level, or preparing 29 powers at 20th level for an eldritch knight, it could be like maybe if for every 2 powers you can have 1 spell. So a 20th level character could have the same 13 spells that an eldritch knight would typically have, and then have 3 extra fighting styles or masteries if you wanted on top of it, because you don't have because you automatically get the masteries for your weapons now. So you don't have to know any masteries if you don't want to, unless you want to have unless you want to have specific masteries always available to you. So in which case, the 3 that you would have left over would grant that to you, and all of your feats are freed up to gain ASI if you wanted. But since these are all prepped, you could. So if you learned 13 spells, that'd be 26 spots. But you could decide instead, maybe I only want to learn maybe I only want 3 spells for my Eldritch Knight. Like I took Eldritch Knight to get 3 spells specifically, A, B, and C, and then the rest of them can be powers. So I think that feels pretty good and lines up with pretty much everyone else. So I think that's reasonable. The other option would be to like 5 to 27. If I did 5 to 27, like I would drop this down to like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I could do that. 27 isn't horrible. It's a lot, but it's not horrible. Hey, what's up? Yeah, this is basically the new breakdown for 2024. The number of spells plus cantrips plus invocations or meta magic or little kicker effects that they might get. So generally, so that's the breakdown. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Before this broke down this way, I was like, you know, giving martial characters like 17 abilities, that's pretty good. But now that I'm looking at how much of these resources, like the fighting styles, are feats. I'm not going to give you a feat for a fighting style. I'm just going to make it a power that you can have as many fighting styles as you want. With the combat masteries, I'm not going to make you learn a combat mastery just so you can swing a hammer better. You know how to fucking use a hammer. But if you want to use topple with every weapon, then you can pick that up as like a cantrip effect. So it all goes into the same. For the martial characters, it all goes into the same pool of prepared powers. So that's the idea. So I think what I want to do is we should be able to safely playtest up to 20. I think 13, 14. I think 27 will feel good. 16, 17. Because like if you want to build a character that's like a shitload of feats, okay. I don't care. I think that's awesome. So if you don't want to, if you want to build martial characters that don't require using mana at all, just abuse the amount of stuff that your character gets access to, and just kit out your character like you'd want for 2014 with all the good shit that you want. So, but this will work. Five is an abundant amount, and then you get bonus powers at when you get your subclasses. You get a total of 10 over the life of your character. You get 2 first rank, and then 2 second rank, 2 third rank, 2 fourth rank, and then finally 2 fifth. Well, there are no fifth rank powers. They only go up to 4. Again, because of the Eldritch Knight and the Arcane Trickster, I didn't want to have fifth rank powers that the Eldritch Knights and Arcane Tricksters wouldn't necessarily have access to anymore. So I wanted to cap it at 4. And that means that basically all the powers that are in the book you can get access to by 13th level. And then at 17th level, you can start overclocking them because you can spend 5 mana, even though none of them are more than 4th level. Most of them scale with your mana spend up to your maximum rank. And this stuff doesn't... The mana pool combines for multi-classing with spellcasters, but casters don't get power, and channeling characters don't get spells. So it's like a wizard has 0 ranks in channeling. So like if I went like 19 levels in wizard and 1 level in fighter, I'll get access to first rank powers. I'll have 76 mana in my mana pool, 76 from 19 levels of wizard, and then 1 point from the fighter, and then I'll be able to get that 1 point from fighter back on a short or a long rest, and the other 79 from the 19th level wizard I'll get back on a long rest. But the wizard would be limited to only being able to prepare first rank powers, which could be really useful to pick up, but they wouldn't be able to use more than 1 power die, and they'd be limited with a d6 to it. And they, it might be a great way for them to be able to make interesting things with like their action economy for their bonus action, their movement, reaction, even object interactions. A wizard might be able to take advantage of some of this stuff, but all the good stuff that a spellcaster would want to abuse to become a really good spellcaster, those don't come online until 5th level or higher. So you're basically sacrificing your 9th and 8th level spell slots as a full caster to gain access to things like that allow you to have multiple reactions, or like what's another good one? Use objects, like you can use magic items as a bonus action and an action twice in the same round, and like that'd be a really good thing for a wizard with a bunch of with a bandolier full of wands, for a wizard to be able to pop out, like just to draw wands and fire them at you. But so being able to do that twice around would be really tough. But if you have to eat 5 levels to get to it, maybe it's not that cool after all. I'll just play an artificer. They'll just get that stuff eventually anyway. So like that might be a better solution. So those are some of the ideas that are going on inside here. So let me get this out of the way. It takes like I said, we're on episode 150, and we've done I playtested the alpha draft of martial powers with my my home table from level 16 to 20 in my last campaign. That's when we started creating it last year, and then we exported it. We did 8, 12, We had about 18 sessions now at third and from 3rd to 6th level, testing it as well, and that's been coming along really well. So we're going to update this stuff and then start over again at 3rd level, and just do dungeon crawls. We're just doing, you know, mega dungeon crawl stuff. We've been doing a hex crawl in the Ravnica setting, but I think I want to switch gears and do maybe like an elemental themed elemental magic, air, earth, fire, and water. Like all of your abilities are themed after elements, and using an elemental paradigm, and then just make a mega dungeon and just buff it out with all sorts of horrible shit. I can just random up dungeons and throw characters into it and just start grinding meat and just build new characters when you get shredded. So that should be fun. That's what we'll do. Let's see. So we're looking at the character here. Prepared power starts at 5, so let's make sure we got our progression good. 5, 6, 7, 8, no. 5, 7, 9. Yeah, let's build this out. 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, and then we'll get to the barbarian, 14. But we're prepping. It's all built together. We're gonna have the same curve, number of powers for all of the classes that are in here, except for the Warlock. The Warlock is going to use the Warlock progression as normal. Warlocks can't learn powers, but they can't replace their spells or cantrips, but they can instead use their invocations. And they get 10 invocations, and they can gain powers at the rate of half-casters. So a 17th level Warlock could use an invocation to learn. Well, a 13th level Warlock could use an invocation to learn a 4th rank power, for instance. So, yeah, that's one of the fun ways to be able to make these things blend together. 24. Did I do this right? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. There's the flaw. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. And artificers don't gain power either, but they can learn powers as infusions. So they could like build an axe that has it's like an axe of thundering strikes. So whenever you attack with that axe, an artificer could pop a point of mana and then turn on thundering strike as a hit. But it's in the axe, and since all characters will have a mana supply, that the artificer could throw the axe to somebody and it's like, here's a thundering axe. The barbarian can catch it and like, fucking fantastic. So your artificer can build more unique kits of weapons to distribute to your team, so they get more gear that they want. Like a helm of telepathy, they can make one because they could put the telepathic feat into a helmet, and then when you put the helmet on, you have the telepathic feat. You don't gain the ability bonus increase, but it works. So you could do that. So your artificer becomes a super useful utility kit for a team that's all using this mana system, that they can all benefit from these mana items together. They can also build power stones, which are batteries. So it's one of their proficiency bonuses as an artificer is how much mana each crystal can make. It's like a mox crystal. Here, have a mox crystal. It's got like 6 points of, like a 17th level artificer would be able to build a mox crystal with like 6 black mana in it. It's like, you know, abuse it, and you can make at 17th level, I think you make like 6 of them. So he gets 20 points on a short rest, but he can build 36 mana worth of batteries that he can hand out to his team. And the paladin can use lay on hands and sacrifice hit points to heal mana instead. It's for every 5 hit points you sacrifice, you can heal somebody 1 point of mana. So the paladin becomes a mana battery for your team as well, a living battery, while the artificer can create little micro batteries. The paladin is a living battery, which helps make the artificer. Since everyone can do smite powers now, like a 2014 paladin could, the paladin does it better. They basically get an extra die of damage on top of what everyone, like when you spend, as a paladin, when you spend like say 1 point of mana to use a strike power, you could use your bonus action to gain an extra point, and you can use any mastery that you know on top of the strike. No, I got rid of that. It's when you use a bonus action, you gain an extra power die of damage. Yeah, and so that's their kicker effect, which coincides with what the 2024 paladin does, and it's a way for the paladin to be just better. we'll take a look at that when we get to it. So we built this out. I'm going to copy this now that it's built in. Prep powers. And we can drop down to where we have our rogue, and we can insert prep powers here. Yeah, this is going to work out. There. Now I can go back to the top of the document over here. In the normal color mana spell point rules, half casters get 2 mana per level, capping at 40 mana at 20th level. But I like all of the characters having, delete that column. I like all of the characters having the same short rest resource, because when we've been running the playtests, it's been really fun being able to pace out the encounters and just drop in a short rest. It's like, hey, take a short rest. Everyone gets their mana back, except for you, Paladin. You're stuck with your long rest. Sorry about that. The Artificer and the Paladin were burning out of mana so quickly compared to the rest of the team because they weren't taking short rests. I just got to give them all short rest mana because it just flows so much faster. Oh, and by the way, for those that don't know, if you want to convert your entire system over to short rest, if you check out the Spellpoint Warlocks book, hold on, let's go. I want to point that out specifically. Let's go to the Warlock options package. Yeah, is that a bundle? No, it's not a bundle. Hold on. This is the Ravnica the Ravnica Warlocks book that I built, Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica. But I actually want to look at the Spellpoint Warlock book. It's a pay what you want. It's only $1. Anyone that wants to support me, spend $1 on this. The entire thing, all my books have full previews, so we can go check it out in here. Let's see. Okay, so all full casters can use the Warlock variant rules to have short rest mana. Here's how it breaks down. Again, casting a spell or power or whatever, it's 1 mana per level. And with this system, at 19th level, you have 10th level spell slots. And Wish becomes a 10th level spell, so you don't get access to Wish until 19th level. You can duplicate any spell effect from level 9 through 1, or you can you can use like the select list, but you can't just freewheel a Wish until 20th level. It's a power curve thing. But yeah, so 10th level. So here's how it works out. You get 1 mana per level. Like the Warlock has Pact Magic and Mystic Arcanum. So the Pact Magic is a short rest resource that works just like Monk Key, focus points, or just short rest mana. You get 1 point per level, starting at 1 and 20th. By 20th level, a 5th level spell. You can cast 4 5th level spell slots at 20th level, but like at 9th level, you gain access to 5th level spells, right? But you only have 9 mana, so you can cast 1 5th level spell and like 4 1st level spells at 1st level, right? So you can break it up like that. You don't have to use a spell slot at its highest level. It's like, I have Web, I want to cast it as a 2nd level spell, not a 5th level spell. Great, just spend 2 mana on it. And then at 11th level, when you get Mystic Arcanum, you get Arcanum points, which you only get back on a long rest. So you have your short rest mana, Pact Magic 1 to 5, and then you have long rest Mystic Arcanum, level 11 through 20, and you get that back on a long rest. You cannot use Pact Magic to cast Mystic Arcanum, but you can use your Arcanum points to cast more Pact Magic. You just don't get them back until a long rest. In the last campaign I ran from level 1 to 20, our Druid used this, and she used her invocations to learn, to augment her wild shape. It's fucking fun. Highly recommended. Any class can run using this Warlock system, and I highly recommend it. Very, very much recommend it. Very worth your time. So let's see. I'll be updating this document for 2024 as well when we get to it. I'll probably start this on Sunday. I have a Sunday morning stream, like from like 9 till noon Seattle time, which is like noon till 3 East Coast. But I'll be rebuilding all of this for the 2024 book, and then we'll republish it and it'll be up and running. So, but this and all the other color mana books I built, you're welcome to check those all out. And if you think any of them are cool, obviously buying them is a huge compliment to me. So let's see. Here's the book. So we have the class breakdown, and we have everything in advance. What's up? Hey, what is up, Leaf? How are you doing? We're building martial powers here. So right now we're mostly, I've been basically rattling through here because I've just got access to 2024 book on the 17th. So I'm catching up to the rest of the world and starting to convert all my color mana stuff that I have on the DMsGuild, convert all that over to 2024. I'll be converting the Spelljammer book that I just published in March. I'll be converting that to 2024. All of it, yeah, it's all going to get converted. So, and I'll be doing all of it here on stream. So, I stream 10 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning, Tuesday, Friday lunches, Thursday and Monday nights, and then Saturday mornings. So I'm on a lot. And when I'm not online, I'm doing page layouts and other like design work for other books, like the Eberron Adventure. I'm currently doing layouts for that. And once that gets done, if you check out my Spelljammer stream, you'll see that I did page layouts, and then I did all the illustrations by taking each page, dropping them into a PDF, and then dropping them here into Photoshop, and then I made an illustration out of it. So you can watch me go through the entire process. This one, we're still building this book. I haven't even sent it off to the editor yet. So once we get done with design and we do the play testing, people that show up here on the stream, a lot of them end up being on my play tests on my Discord server, which is linked down below. Folks are most welcome to do so. Build a character, throw mana around, tell me how it feels, what you enjoy. We just fuck around and find out. So, but we got this stuff built out okay now. So I can here. There we go. Okay, so I want to grab. I want to grab the whole table here and just basically convert it to the barbarian. Barbarian. So we're going to go through and we're going to chew on the entire class. We don't get sneak attack. We get rage. We'll talk about the rogue when we get to it. We're doing it alphabetically right now. We already went through what we from what I've seen of the rogue and updated it. But I don't think it's full. There might be little caveats that I've missed. I can get rid of all of these. There. And power die is good. Max rank, prep powers, mana regained on a short rest. Okay, so we're just gonna start chewing on class features for the barbarian. Figure out how we need to have this thing structured now that we have the official rules. Yeah. Hey, thanks, man. Oh yeah. That's this. Thanks for the compliment. I've been a freelance illustrator since 2000. So I've certainly had time to build art. I can create art a lot quicker than I can create games. But if you're interested in seeing, that came from the Knights and Tricksters book, which we're going to update. Here's the color mana system down in the description down below. And then if you scroll down to Knights and Tricksters, and then all my books have full previews. So you can read the entire thing if you want to check it out. And people read the book and they just buy it because they want me to make more. That's kind of the deal. Buy my books is a vote to make more books. So the more people buy books, the more books I make. But this is old. This is an old system. I have to update this. But basically, we break down all the spells into colors, and then an Eldritch Knight or an Arcane Trickster, you pick up your spells, and you have a mana pool of 1 to 20 points, and you spend the points to cast a spell, and Bob's your uncle. Pretty simple, very straightforward. But we have variant class features to utilize the mana more, and like we have combined concentration mechanics, so you can concentrate on spells more than one at a time. Different power sources instead of just color magic. There's all these different types of magic paradigms that you can utilize, and I'd spend a lot of time talking about paradigms. And then the variant class features, like Eldritch, the Eldritch Combat lets you swap an attack roll with a cantrip cast at first level. So like an 11th level character could cast like 4 cantrips, but they'd all be first level cantrips. So like stuff like that. It's a lot of fun stuff. It's worth checking out. And then we have like a system of building adversaries like NPCs, quick, easy stat blocks. The whatever tier they are, level 1 to 4, 5 to the 4 tiers, 1 to 5, 6 to 9, up to 20. Here's their basic bonuses and stats and stuff and what they can do. And then here's like how their kits look like, the different color breakdown depending on what colors they want to use, right? Like a white and black character, right, would have access to like these type of spells. Typically would have like Blade Ward, Resistance, Aid, Protection from Poison. Spirit Guardians is a sick one. Zone of Truth forces people to tell the truth. That's why it's black. Feign Death, Revivify. Like that's a solid set of spells for like a Holy Warrior. Going white black, that'd be a really great like a Orzhov Temple Guardian. That would be a really sick build. Like make them a rogue, so they could be like a temple assassin, and then you could have rogue fighter, and then you could have like Orzhov fighters that tank, and then you'd have the Orzhov assassin behind it that's using a mix of these spells and their sneak attacks to deal damage as well. It's a great combo. And the flavor narrative is just super fun. So, let's see. Without getting any more sidetracked than I am. Okay, so what I need to do is get serious. So I'm just kind of fucking around tonight. If you can't tell, I'm just kind of having fun. But I love doing this stuff. I like talking about it. I like building it. But we're gonna go through and break down every feature of the barbarian. And rebuild what needs to be rebuilt for our martial power system to work properly. So we've already had the opening build that we had for the 2014, and we've been updating it with what little information I've had about 2024 prior to getting the books. And then we did all the subclasses. So and all the subclasses gain bonus powers on top. So you get a shitload of powers, 26 by 20th level. It's a stack. So we have like the language for like channeling, and then gaining mana, how rage is modified by this, and then some special things to manipulate mana and to lean into your powers. So we're going to get into the actual document itself. So I'll be keeping an eye on the corner over here, but I don't always respond at top speeds. So glad you think that's cool. Hi, Dems. Rolled a 6 on your bardic inspiration. Let's go. Right on, my guy. Oh man, I love Rakdos. When you talk about bards, I just automatically think Rakdos. But I'm a big MTG enthusiast. I don't play the game. I don't have time to play Magic. I already have chess as a hobby. And that's pretty casual, but I'm either painting, designing books, hanging with the family, at my day job, sleeping, chores, or chess. So like I really don't have time for MTG, but I love all the narrative and the mechanics. And I used to be a big green enthusiast back when I was building decks. Green or shrines. It's like I'll either build like a green stompy deck or a shrine deck, which like all colors, but that's just my jam. So level 1, let's get to work. How many rages do I have? 2, and then at third level I have 3. So let's build. Rage. 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. What do I get? 4 at 7th? 4 at 6th. Just a rhyme without a reason. When do I get my 5th? 5th comes in at 12th. And then 17? 16, I bet. Nope, 17. Cool. Max rank, prep powers. Rage, unarmored defense, and we don't need weapon mastery, so let's go with Rage. Unarmored defense. Empowered maneuvers. Channeling and empowered maneuvers. What's up? Oh. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Question to everybody. If you were a class, what would you be? I would be a bard druid. Nice, man. Okay, so I immediately go to what would I want to be and what do I think I actually am. And if I have to pick a class, as I am, I think I would probably go monk. Probably monk. Either that or bard. I'll take either one. I prefer playing sorcerers when I play, though. I'm playing a 5th level Selesnyan divine warlock of Selune using white and green mana. So the moon god of Forgotten Realms, we all agreed felt like white green magic. So my sorcerer is using only white and green spells, and it's working out fucking great. So I'm very, very happy about that. So rage, let's learn about rage. Unarmed defense. We don't need weapon masteries anymore because those become powers. Danger sense, reckless attack. I'm good with those. Danger sense. Let's get that updated. Danger sense. And then reckless attack. What else you got? Primal knowledge. Let's go to barbarian. Yeah. I love sorcerers so much. You want to choose, you can if you want. If you check out my stream from last Saturday, I was working on the spell point sorcerer's conversion. Basically, you combine your sorcery points in your mana pool, so you have 100 over the course of 20 levels, and you combine your your meta magic and your spell list, so you can have as many spells or meta magics as you want amongst the set that you have. It's like you can have like 3 spells and like 15 meta magics, and that's all you do. You just modify those 3 spells in your cantrips like a shitload of different ways by spending extra mana. And the amount of mana that you can spend on multiple meta magics is equal to your max sorcery rank, which is a half casting progression. So by 17th level, you can spend up to 5 mana on top of your 9th level spell. So you can modify your 9th level spell with up to 5 mana worth of meta magic. And meta magic ranges from 1 to 4 mana. So you can like stack on like 5 meta magic effects onto a fireball if you wanted to. Like you can make it like a blinding, explosive, burning, restraining, because restraining is a 2 mana meta magic. But you can do all those things. You could blind people, you could restrain them, you can punt them outside of the. Oh, you can do an implosive meta magic. I think that's 2nd rank. So like if you hit them, they all get pulled to the center, and you can blind them, and you can max damage if you spent like 4 mana on it. So you can like maximize damage, like all the shit from 3rd edition, like the stack of meta magic. I like plucked out like 30 of the really good ones, and then converted that, and those basically become spells that are added to your sorcerer's spell list automatically that you could learn if you decide to prep them. So, but you can have as many of them instead. It's like you have 1 spell and like a shitload of meta magic. Like that's perfectly viable. So, but I mean, there's a lot of spells that are really useful, and the meta magic really competes against the spells. So I'm glad I don't have to make the decision often, because it's a heartbreak when you have to leave something on the floor, right? I'll get you next level, baby, I promise. Extra attack and fast movement. But yeah, that's going to be badass. So I'm working on that. I think I can get the Warlock finished first. So that's the one I'm going to work on. So I want to get Spell Point Warlocks updated just because it's an easy lift. Spell Point Sorcerers is almost done. So, but I think I kind of want to update the core mechanics first, because subclass features. Let's do that. Because the Warlock dives so much deeper into those ideas. Subclass feature. That like the core mechanics is pretty light. It'll combine your mana pool, but it doesn't do anything fancy with meta magic. But once you get into like the actual Spell Point Sorcerer book itself, that's when we start really playing with the sorcerer specifically. So that's what I do. I'll have a base book that like changes the physics of the game. And then I build a bunch of other books that further dive down the rabbit holes that get created by those new ideas. And that's how I geek out. So, Feral Instinct and then Instinctive Pounce. Feral Instinct. Instinctive Pounce. Pounce ability score improvement. Brutal Strike 9. Brutal Strength. Oh no, it's Brutal Strike, my bad. Ten subclass feature. Narf. And of course, since you can learn feats as powers, you just don't get the ability score bonus with it. When you actually get an ASI, it's actually really valuable. 11 is Relentless Rage. 12 is ASI, Improved Brutal Strikes. One second. Yeah? I thought there was text. I was wrong. Never mind. 14 subclass feature. Persistent Rage. ASI, Improved Brutal Strikes. More Improved Brutal Strikes, huh? Whatever. Improved Brutal Strikes. We'll see what they do. I know we're gonna swap it out. I'm pretty sure I know how it works, and that what we're doing is better. Indomitable Might. Most of this stuff is still good. Epic Boon, and then Primal Champion. Primal Champion of the campaign. Primal Champion. There we go. 6/4. Oh, rage bonus. Right. Rage damage. Man. I am sorely tempted. Nah, rage. Bonus. I was about to say I am sorely tempted to have the while raging, the barbarian automatically gains an extra power die to strength checks and damage rolls, but I think that's got to be pushing it a little bit too much. So we'll keep the +2. We'll keep the bonusy. +2, +9. I'll consider it if I find that it's falling shy, but the brutal power should really make it clip in. +2, +52. That's not bad. +2, +3. Is that how it goes? +3 at 9th, and then +4 at 16th. +3. What's up? Oh no! If something's not clear, I mean, I'm just kind of rambling. I kind of assume that anyone that shows up has been around for any of the other 150 episodes, so we're kind of indoctrinated already. But I end up repeating so much stuff over and over again every stream anyway, just because I like talking about it. If you got questions, I am more than happy to answer. I should probably swap this. Nice. I like that I can do that. That's a good feature. Wait, so what is this telling us exactly like? Let's go. Okay, now that we have the stack of features all laid out, we can start reading into them. So you can imbue yourself with a primal power called Rage, and a force that grants you extraordinary might and resilience. You can enter it as a bonus action if you aren't wearing heavy armor. You can enter your rage a number of times shown for your barbarian level. In the rages column of the barbarian features table, you regain 1 expended use when you finish a short rest, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. While active, your rage follows the rules below: damage resistance, BPS, rage damage. You make when you make an attack using strength with either a weapon or unarmed strike and deal damage to the target, you gain a bonus to the damage that increases as you gain levels, as shown in the rage damage column of the barbarian feature table. Strength advantage: you have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. No concentration on spells. You cannot maintain concentration, and you cannot cast spells, which we get to ignore completely because you don't cast spells with martial powers, you channel powers. And you don't maintain concentration, you just spend mana and it stays on until you're incapacitated. And it's called sustained, not maintaining. So we remain compliant with all of this by doing some fancy sidestepping of the concentration and spellcasting rules by ignoring them. Duration: the rage lasts until the end of your next turn, and it ends each time the rage is extended. It lasts until the end of your next turn. You can maintain a rage for up to 10 minutes. Let's see. Okay, that's still legit. So what do we need to change? Where'd you go? There you are. Empowered Rage. At first level, you can choose to sustain Rage as a first rank power instead of ending after 10 minutes. You don't need to take any actions to sustain Rage this way. In addition, you can expend any amount of mana to regain an equal number of spent Rages. So that's pretty straightforward, right? First rank power means it costs 1 mana. As it just said here, it ends after 10 minutes no matter what. And you can extend the rage. Let's see, it lasts, what does it say? Rage, strength, concentration. The rage lasts until the end of your next turn. And it ends early if you don heavy armor, have the incapacitated condition. If your rage is still active on your next turn, you can extend the rage for another round by doing one of the following. You can extend, instead of, I need to reword this. In addition, let's see. After 10 minutes, you can choose to sustain as a first power instead. without a duration as detailed in the sustained power section below. And then I should write here, instead of, how's it word? Instead of using an action to extend your rage each turn, you can, that's what I should say, in addition, that's how I should word it. In addition, comma, you can expend any amount. Wait. Nope. As detailed in the sustained powers below. At first level, you choose. Sorry, I'm doing word pie. At first level, you can choose to sustain rage as a first rank power without a duration as detailed in the sustained power. I don't need to have that. Instead of, as a first rank power, instead of, that's it, instead of using an action, there it is, an action to extend your rage each turn. So again, you can have up to when you can sustain a number of powers equal to your maximum rank. At first level, you have 1 rank. That means you can sustain 1 mana worth of power, which means you can sustain a first rank power. Let's see, where's that at? There we go. So there's all sorts of powers that you could learn, but this allows you to treat rage as one of your powers, which means that when you turn rage on, you can just literally leave it on all day until you take a long rest. It will never end. So you do not need relentless rage. You do not need multiple rages unless there's a rage effect that allows it to pop, which means I might have to shunt that back to a further level to get to a point like the ranger eventually doesn't have to concentrate on the or doesn't have to check for concentration when they take damage using Hunter's Mark, for example. I think that's like at 13th level. This might clip in at that same level. So, but for now, I'm enjoying where that is at, and so the mana is all the same. The martial powers is all the same. Empowered rage, I like what that is. I like everything else that about rage is fine. The optional class feature, empowered maneuvers. I think I already have it listed in here. Yeah, empowered maneuvers. Empowered maneuvers allows you to sacrifice when you take the attack. When you take the attack action during your turn, you can sacrifice any number of attacks to gain free mana that you could then spend as a bonus action on a power that you can use, which is typically going to be a maneuver or a sustained power. So basically, the actions generate power for you. It's like you're expending your attack actions to be able to do a flash bang effect. So it's kind of it's a way to swap action economy around. And as you gain more attacks, you can give up more of those attacks to get more free mana to do bigger flash bane effects with your bonus action. So I'm content with rage. Unarmored defense. While you aren't wearing any armor, your base armor increase equal 10 plus dex and con modifier. You can use a shield and still gain this benefit. Okay. Weapon mastery. We skip weapon masteries. You don't need it anymore. Danger sense. You gain an uncanny sense of when things aren't as they should be, giving you an edge when you dodge perils. You can have advantage on a dexterity saving throw unless you are incapacitated. Reckless attack. You can throw aside all concerns for defense to attack with increasing ferocity. When you make your first attack roll on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives you advantage on attack rolls using strength until the start of your next turn. But attack rolls against you have advantage during that time. Barbarian subclass. Primal knowledge. You gain proficiency in another skill of your choice from the skill list available to the barbarian. That's great. In addition, while your rage is active, you can channel primal power when you attempt certain tasks. Whenever you make an ability check using one of the following skills, you can make it as a strength check, even if it normally uses different abilities: acrobatics, intimidation, perception, stealth, survival. When you use this ability, your strength represents primal power coursing through you, owning your agility, bearing, and senses. Strength check. You can make it as a... Let's go with... 1 second. When does that clip in? 3rd level. Empowered maneuvers, and that's right, primal stamina. Comma. Primal stamina is, as a bonus action, you can sacrifice any number of hit dice up to your max rank of power gained as a barbarian to regain an equal number of mana instead of rolling to regain hit points. There you go. And then at 3rd level, we have let's see, variant class feature. No, but but all my, I don't private my streams. They stay active, so it'll be on my page. So let's see, go to Phil Kearney. Be sure to like and subscribe, and then you can go to live. And it has all my stuff. So like I was doing Eberron artwork this morning. I was working on martial powers at lunch yesterday. I was doing Eberron yesterday morning. Beginning of that illustration on Monday. I did Spelljammer and Eberron game prep on Monday night. And I did here you go, Spell Point Sorcerers episode 3. That was on Saturday. So yeah, it's all here. It's all here. And then I have my playlists as well. So the Spelljammer stuff, digital painting techniques, Spelljammer combat and exploration production, the squad, Infernal Machine Spelljammer preemptive work, the martial powers design stream that we're watching right now, the in command system, which I'll be publishing eventually on ttrpg. MTG D&D conversion stuff, Ravnica Rangers, making Blue Magic Paradigm thing. Oh, yeah, these are all different things you can look at. So they're all here. Check them out. If you got a crash or whatever, I just appreciate you being here. Thanks. So come and go as you please. Love to have you. Drop by my Discord. It's linked down below. Variant class feature, and then we'll put in parentheses. Replaces. Modifies. Primal knowledge. Empowered knowledge. Ask for you to change that. There. All right, so. I'm happy with how that sits. Hey, that's my 2-minute timer. Burp, burp, burp. Keeping me honest. Blah. There. You gain proficiency in a skill of your choice from the list available. Barbarians at level 1. You gain proficiency. An additional skill. You have to modify the text. You can't just cut paste. In addition, while your rage is active, you can channel primal power. You can channel power because we channel powers, right? So you can channel power when you attempt certain tasks. Whenever you make an ability check using one of the following skills, you can make it. Whenever you make an ability check using one of the following skills, you can use your channeling ability score instead. And your ability score can be strength, constitution, or charisma, your choice. And you can switch it whenever. Even if it you can use your channeling ability score instead. Let's see. Whenever you make an ability check using one of the following skills, you can use your channeling ability score instead. Acrobatics, intimidate, perception, stealth, survival. When you use this ability, I don't need that flavor text. Thanks. In addition, you can spend additional mana as an exploit. Rolling 1 power die per mana expended, adding the highest roll to your result. There you go. Fuck you. That's a fucking great power. I think I want to call it empowered skill instead. We're going to call it primal skill. How about that? Variant class feature. Replaces primal knowledge. Yeah, right on, my guy. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah, right on, my guy. Whenever you have time. I'll be back on. I'll be doing this again at lunch on Friday. I'll be back tomorrow morning doing artwork for Eberron. I'll be back at lunch tomorrow's Friday. So yeah, I'll be back at lunch tomorrow doing more of this. On Saturday, I'll be working on Warlocks specifically. Sunday is my day of rest. It's my worship of God. And then Monday I'll be back doing artwork in the morning, and then Monday night I'll be doing this as well. So like that, and then Tuesdays. Monday and Tuesday morning, Eberron art. Tuesday lunch, more of this. Wednesday morning, Eberron art, and then Wednesday night I have off. So I stream 10 times per week at various times, mornings and evenings. Blah blah blah. There you go. So thanks a lot for hanging out, man. I appreciate you being around. Cheers. Primal skills. That one felt good. So we're going to go up to, instead of primal knowledge, we're going to switch to primal skills. ASI stays as is. Fast movement. I think fast movement will stay as is. Fast movement. Your speed increases by 10 feet while you aren't wearing heavy armor. Okay. Feral instinct. Your instincts are so honed, you have an advantage on initiative rolls. I have no problem with feral instinct. Instinctive pounce. As part of the bonus action you take to enter your rage, You can move up to half your speed. I got nothing wrong with that. Hey, what's up? Yeah, right on. Cheers. Later. Instinctive Pounce. As part of the bonus action, you take to enter your rage. You can move up to half your speed. I love that. Brutal Strike. Oh, here's the big change. You're going to catch this in the future. Brutal Power. This is where we're going to be making changes. So Brutal Strike. You can use if you use Reckless Attack, you can forego any advantage on one strength-based attack roll of your choice on your turn. The chosen attack roll mustn't have disadvantage. If the and if the chosen attack roll hits, takes an extra D10 damage. It's the same type as the weapon or on strike. And you can cause one brutal strike effect of your choice. You have the following options. Forceful Blow. Target gets pushed 15 feet away from you. That's the same as Thundering Strike, first level. You move, and you can then move up to half your speed straight towards the target without provoking opportunity attacks. That's pretty good. I gotta admit, that's a good one. Hamstring Blow. The target's speed is reduced by 15 feet until the start. 15 feet, what a number. Your 9th level, it's third. So you gain 3rd level spells at 3rd level. Mayhaps they are using the feat of movement on the barbarian to correspond to the level of spell you'd have as a half caster. How could this be? Like the 5th level, you get an extra 10 feet of movement. 5 times 2. Dunno. And then you got 15 feet here at 9th. That's interesting. Target speed reduced by enhanced range reduced by 15 feet. Target can be affected. Okay, so we have a freezing strike which reduces your speed to half. So that's covered there. I like this movement thing. You can do that with step. You can use Thundering Strike and then the Step Mastery. So if you were to chain, you could chain. You'd spend a feat to do it, or like one of your powers, one of your meta powers. You can pick up is chained strikes. You can do this at 9th level. Okay, you could chain Martial Strike and Thundering Strike together. They're both first rank powers, so you'd have to spend 2 or more mana. And if you do so, you'd be able to push a target up to 20 feet, and you would be able to with the step feature, you'd be able to move up to 10. So you could punt them 10 feet. You could punt them 20, but you can punt them 10 and then keep pace with them for 10. Okay, so what you can do, because forced in this system, one of the mechanics that we have is forced movement can proc opportunity attacks. So what you can do by chaining Thundering Strike and Step together, you could hit a target, push them 20 feet. While they're moving 20 feet, you can move 10 feet with them, and at the end of that 10 feet, they now leave your area, your reach, which you could then use your reaction as an opportunity attack to use the Tripping Strike, for instance, which you could then knock them prone in place where they're at. So that's really fun. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. You can double tap people by pushing them out of your range and then using your reaction to tap them on the way out. And if you take the opportunity to sustain power, it's 2 mana. It allows you to swap any number of attacks during your action to gain additional reactions. So you can have multiple opportunity attacks or multiple reactions that you take during other people's turns. So you can become a sentinel on other people's turns. You can shut down other people's action economy and even trip them if you wanted to. So a lot of ways you can modify your action loop and make your character a literal tank, like a real MMO tank, by controlling a lot of people's different actions, their action economy. Like with Shocking Strike, Tripping Strike, Thundering Strike, paralyzing strike. These are all different things that you can use with various number of reactions. It chains together really, really nicely for you to be able to have, like, it can be a really, really technical, very detailed tactical game using these options if you wanted to build your deck, your character's deck that way. Or you could just get a shitload of feats and stay really simple, but really effective at what you choose to do. It just doesn't require any mana to do it. Or you can combine like feats and sustain powers, so the mana that you spend is only spent on things that last all day. So they're like mana empowered feats effectively, which is how I would rebuild the game. I'd have a stack of feats and then have mana kicker effects on each feat. So, and then I'd make feats and invocations the same thing, and then build everyone out as a warlock. And like instead of gaining Mystic Arcanum level high magic spells, you'd be able to get like big boosts to the martial stuff that you do. So everyone effectively would be playing a warlock type character, but they'd be able to use their spells, mana, feats, cantrips, and invocations between spells, powers, and feats in various combinations to be able to build out different class fantasy, like the druid, for instance, I talked about earlier. But that's just me. That's how I would do it. I would just have one class to rule them all. Everyone's a warlock, and the invocations that you spend, the feats that you choose, is how you kit up or down the amount of, like, you start off as a half caster warlock, you can lean into full casting, or you could lean into martials, or you could stay Gish in the middle. So anyway, Bob's your uncle. Brutal strikes, forceful blow, hamstring blow. Okay, so I can replace these. And so the way that works is you give up the attack, you give up reckless attack, and you can do a brutal strike. So we're going to swap brutal strike is going to be brutal power is what we call it. And we already have it down below, but we might have to update it. So what I want to do is go into the improved brutal power to see how that shakes out. So improved. So new ways to attack. The following effects are now among your brutal strike options. Cool. Staggering blow. Target has disadvantage on the next saving throw. That's basically the what is that? Sap? No, Vex. That's the Vexing mastery that you could use with a martial strike. And it can't make opportunity attacks, so you could chain that with shocking strike. Martial strike plus shocking strike equals staggering blow. Sundering blow, another creature against the target. Before the start of your next turn, the next attack roll made by another creature against the target gains a +5 to the roll. Oh, got it. Oh, it's a bonus. Okay, well we already have a distracting strike that we can use that gives people advantage, which is what a +5 bonus is. And then I think there's another improved. Yeah. The extra damage of your brutal strikes increases to 2d10. In addition, you can use 2 different brutal strikes effects when you can use brutal strike. That's great, but we already have chains, so we beat you guys. Haha. You can chain as early as level 5. So take that, the man. How do we have ours built? Powered attacks is replacing the attack rolls. For example, when a 9th level barbarian takes the attack action and hits with the first strike, you can forgo the second attack, burn 2 mana, and your pool to channel third rank strike. Power class features increase the number of attacks as you gain during an attack action. Can be sacrificed this way as well. I can get rid of that language. Here it is, brutal power. 9th level replaces brutal strikes. What we're calling it, alternate class feature. Yeah. No, it is a variant. That's what we're gonna call it. Variant. No, alternate class feature. That would be right. At 9th level, when you make a strength-based attack, let's steal their language. Brutal power. When you make, there we go. When you make a, strength-based attack while using, I have to reword it. I can't just copy. When using reckless attack with a strength-based attack roll, the strength-based attack, you can oh, you don't have to be raging. Nice. You can forego rolling with advantage. Yeah. To gain 1 temporary point of mana to channel a strike power. To channel a strike power if you hit. At 17th level, you gain 2 temporary points of advantage. There you go. Free strikes. When using reckless attack with strength-based attacks, how about when making a strength-based reckless attack? Wait, can't I only use reckless? Can't I only use reckless attack with strength-based attacks anyway? Yeah. When using reckless attack, you don't need to have strength-based attack. Well, I guess you could, because you could have reckless attack active and then choose to use something else. But I like you using ranged, and I want to encourage that behavior. When using reckless attack, here we go. You can forego gaining advantage. You can forego rolling with advantage with a reckless attack. You can forego rolling with advantage with a while using. There you go. You can forego rolling with advantage while using reckless attack. To you can choose to forego rolling with advantage while using reckless attack. If you do, if you don't have disadvantage on the attack as a result of foregoing advantage, if you don't have disadvantage on the, no, that's too fucking complicated. You can choose to forego rolling with advantage while using reckless attack. To gain. Just keep it simple, man. I don't have to make it so fucking wordy. One temporary point of mana to channel a strike power if you hit. At 17th level, you gain 2 temporary points of mana. So at 9th level, you're rolling a D8. At 17th level, it'll be a D10. Those D10 power dice, you get 2 free points, and you could have a total at 17 up to 5. So you can use those 2 temporary mana to channel a strike. Or if you have, if you've spent additional powers to chain multiple strikes together, you get 2 points for free. Chain as many as you want, I don't care. So there you go. So there you go, brutal power, super fucking cool. And we have 26 different powers you can channel with this feature. So we don't need to, we can have improved power, we can, yeah, we'll do that. Improved brutal power. 9th level. Or is it level 3? No, level 1. When we get primal skills, what was that 5th? Third. Thank you. Thinking. I'm looking at the rage table. I'm thinking about rage. All right, let's keep moving through the list. Primal powers, that worked out really, really well. I'm very, very happy with brutal power. That is super fucking cool. Relentless rage. Your rage can keep you fighting despite grievous wounds. If you drop to 0 hit points while your rage is active and don't die outright, you can make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. If you succeed, your hit points instead change to a number equal to twice your barbarian level. That's a fucking great power. We have a power that does this. It's just a reaction. Yeah, I was looking at it last session. You can check out the previous episode. Sorry for being lazy. Each time you use this feature, increases by 5. Oh, I like that. When you finish a long rest, the DC resets to 10. That's a great feature. I have absolutely no reason to mess with it. I love it. Improved critical, we already got rid of that. Persistent rage. When you roll initiative, you can regain all expended uses of rage. You can regain all expended uses of rage. After you regain uses of rage in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. In addition, your rage is so fierce that it can now last for 10 minutes without you needing to do anything to extend it from round to round. Your rage ends early if you have the unconscious condition, not just incapacitated condition, or don heavy. Ooh, wow. Yeah, or don heavy armor. You know what? I'm fine with persistent rage as written. It gives you all your rages back, but but you don't really have much use for rage. But you don't necessarily want to spend your mana and your sustain slots on rage when it's just something you can spend action economy on. I think that's fair. It's an option, so it doesn't necessarily replace it, but it is an interesting option. And since you get so many of them back now, I don't need to give you free rage anymore. But I can let you spend rage. In addition, you can expend any amount of mana to regain an equal number of spent rages. At first level, you can choose to sustain rage as a first level power instead of using an action to extend. Instead of using actions. Yeah, instead of using an action to extend your rage each turn. In addition, you can expend any amount. In addition, you can expend a use of rage to regain 1 point of mana, and you can expend any amount of mana to regain an equal number of spent rages. So that gives you the flexibility. If you turn rage on and you leave it on, you can cash out the rest of the rages that you have left. And as you gain more and more levels, that becomes more and more useful. But you can cash them in to gain extra mana, and to regain. Yeah, it basically becomes a healing battery for you, on top of the ability to burn hit dice to regain mana. So primal stamina and the rage feature, they both refund mana for you, on top of you getting free mana to be able to just do stuff in general by giving up action economy or your advantage once you get brutal power. So like even though you only get your barbarian level worth of mana per short rest, there's so many things that you can do to regain your mana or to get free mana to do stuff. You effectively have unlimited mana. It's just how much can you use at one time, and what are you willing to surrender to have it. So again, you get to define how do you want to use your resources. How are they most valuable to you? Like, I've ran entire campaigns where I've never had to use any hit dice because we have so much healing power on the team that we're just trying to throw mana away anyway. So not having hit dice we just didn't need them. It's like being able to burn your hit dice in that kind of a campaign to get more mana. That's fantastic. Dip into cleric, get some cure spells, man. That would be efficient. So yeah, this is working out great. I'm really happy with all this so far. Like I've been saying the entire time, every time I learn something new about 2024, it just makes what I want to do with the game better. It's not apologizing. It's granting me permission to do all these things, because like when I first started these ideas, they were taking martial characters pretty far over the line of what they used to be able to do. Not only because of all the powers that you have in the mana supply, but just how I'm modifying the classes. But now I'm finding all of these things they're just doing what they do. It's like everything that I want to do with it is already exists here, just in a different way. Like their use of resources, I'm coalescing and consolidating all of these things into mana. Like you can spend mana to get these things, you can spend these things to get mana. So you can power different. Again, you can just power your own game loops. Super fun. I'm loving this stuff. Persistent rage, that's fine. Improved brutal strike, whatever. We replaced that. But yeah. We gotta update the table though. So if a feature is missing from the table, it's gone. If the feature is present but not listed below, it's unchanged, as in the book. If it's listed here and noted and it's described below, use this power. If it says that it's modified an ability, use the modified ability. So there you go. Like brutal strikes isn't here anymore. You don't get brutal strikes. So that's obviously gone. That's gone. But almost all of this stuff is still here. Improved brutal power. And the what was it? Was that? Yeah, persistent rage. That was 15, right? Hold on. Let me go find it. Yeah, 15 persistent rage. So you can burn your rage to regain mana, right? So at the beginning of initiative, you can get all your rage back and then burn it all to get mana back on top of it. And you get 1 rage back when you finish a short rest. So that means that you have a rage in reserve. So you'll have that extra point of mana that you can spend on top of everything else that you have. Fucking great. I'm so happy with this. Indomitable Might. If your total for a strength check or a strength saving throw is less than your strength score, you can use that score in place of your total. Okay. I love that. I have no reason to change it. Primal Champion. You embody primal power. Your strength and con bonus. I'm fine with that too. No changes there. What time is it? 8:45. How long have we been going at this? Hour and 50 minutes. Okay, so when we come back, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop stream here. We have our optional class features. They all work perfectly well. We only had to modify the ones that needed to be modified, although we have created all of the subclasses in this document already. I am going to only include in the initial kick, I am only going to provide the ones that are actually listed in the book itself. That is cut. Because I can make a, to be perfectly honest with you, it's just kicker content. I can make a subclass splat book. So we'll have the core mechanics of what exists inside the player's handbook inside of this document as the core book for martial powers, and then in the and then we can have a martial powers subclass expansion. Right, so then I can fill in all the ones that are missing, and basically have this kicker content. I can either put it on my Patreon, or just bind it into a book and put it on DMsGuild to bundle with the Martial Powers book. And then also, like with the core mechanics of the color mana system, I can include the 4 subclasses for each of the classes that are listed in there, and then withhold the rest of them and provide those in color mana splat books as well. So it's just fun ways to play stuff. So the Wild Heart. What else do I want? Oh, Path of the World Tree. I don't have Path of the World Tree yet. Awesome. Path of the World Tree, and I think we have Path of the Zealot. Hold on. There it is. I believe we're going to be seeing some changes myself. I'm looking forward to rebuilding World Tree. That's going to be super cool. And then this one is, they renamed it. Hold on. Wild Heart. That's Totem. I'm super excited. This is going to be super fucking fun. of the world peas. There. Oh my god, this is going to be so fucking fun. I am very much looking forward to this. Yeah. Oh my god, this is going to be so fucking fun. I am very much looking forward to this. This is going to be so fun. I love building these things. It is so cool converting stuff. It is just the peak of couture design. It's completely what's the word that I'm looking for? It's celebrating hubris in the extreme. But I love redesigning stuff, and I love building my own power systems. It's super fun. So when we come back next, I'm going to go ahead and cut stream here. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for me to do some off-screen work doing layouts for the Eberron book. So I got to bounce. But I'll be back tomorrow morning to do more Eberron character art, and then around, I want to say around 2 o'clock Seattle time, like 5 o'clock Friday. I'll make it 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock if I can. 1 o'clock Seattle if I can, but I'm expecting 2 o'clock on Friday to be back on, and we're going to make sure all these things jive what we have going on with the new system. So. Stay tuned. Back for more. Barbarian is looking just absolutely fucking monstrous. So, really, really excited about this. I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot for being here. Cheers.